did pick up the phone, I didn't want to talk about people's situation. And when I was around, especially if
I didn't want to talk about people's situation. Hey, what's up, YouTube and Instagram? So I'm going to be making a video today. Just wanted to talk about some really deep stuff, and maybe we can all heal together. This is my current season right now, and I've been looking up some good video content in regards to this topic, and I just haven't really been finding the content that I need. So I think that was just God telling me that I needed to make it. So here I go. Y'all, today's video topic is going to be about cutting off toxic family members or removing yourself from toxic environments. Y'all, it's just, I don't know. I know that we're going to just bust down the obvious, okay? You can't choose what family you're born into. You can't choose, that type of thing, but you can choose what you are willing to accept. You can choose what you are allowing to be around you. And you can choose, ultimately, who you want to deal with at the end of the day. I just want to say this for my girlies and boys and men, women that might be in this season, because I'm currently in the season and it's very hard. It's very hard to decide to remove yourself from toxic environments, from the people you love the most. It's one of the hardest things that you will ever have to do. And people don't understand, because they'll look at your action like, well, you did this or you did that, or how could you do this, and how could you, stop talking to this, and much as we do all this right here, but they don't understand how you feel. And for a person who have had to cut off toxic family members or stop going around certain gatherings and around certain people for certain reasons, it's always something that led us there, and it's never just one thing. For us people who've had to be in this seat, just know that everything was tried before a person got there. People don't normally cut the people they love the most off at a drop of a hat or a drop of a dime. If I've had to cut you off for any reason outside of a romantic relationship, we talking family here, that means that I had to. That's what that means. And like I said, for the people that I've known and came up with, and people I'm close to, some people got a little lower tolerance than others, true enough, but it takes a lot for somebody to cut off people that they love. So I want people to have a little grace when it comes to having conversations with your friends about, or people you run into and they tell you they don't deal with this, or they don't talk to their parents, or maybe they're not talking to their sibling, and you should, you only get one set of parents, or you only get one set of siblings. Let's refrain from making people feel guilty, because understand that it's emotional within itself just to have to even do that. If you've had to do that, then that means that you got some trauma that you probably had to heal from, and it's things that people just don't understand about that dynamic. So I just want to extend some grace for anybody who might be going through that first and foremost, and I just want to give some advice for people who are not going through that, to be graceful towards people who is, because you just never know what led them to that decision. Now let's talk about what's the signs of a narcissistic or toxic family member. Number one, you have to always incubate it. What's a good word for this? You gotta always, you fear telling your truth, or you fear being vulnerable or even open to how you feel, because you fear how they're gonna feel, because how they feel matters more than how you feel. That's number one. Their feelings always come before everybody's feelings. Their experience comes before everybody's experience, and you fear telling your truth or living your life or being the truest that you need to be to yourself, because you fear their reaction. That's tip number one. Tip number two, they tend to get very disrespectful with you for any disagreement. And maybe it's not just you, maybe they do it to everybody. They get upset or they get up in arms, the first thing they go for is disrespect. They don't know how to have a curve, they don't know how to communicate with you, then they're probably toxic. And it's just, we'll move on from that. That's pretty simple. So their feelings come first. Number two, they don't know how to communicate. Tip number three, if they emotionally drain you, every time you're around this person, or most times while you're around this person, if you got to be tiptoeing around them, or when you leave you just feel uneasy, you feel that you have anxiety, you're suffering with depression, or you're suffering with just extreme worry after you leave from being around them, that's not a good sign. Tip number four, you dread family gatherings. You dread family gatherings. You hate even the thought of just getting around these people and having to be around them because you just don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know who's going to argue, and arguments have gotten so bad that you just dread even being a part of it. That's what we're on number 4. Okay, so yeah, tip number 4, you just dread even being around them. Sign number 5, they're jealous. Yeah, family could be they be the main ones that be jealous of you. You can't have nothing nice on, you can't get too many compliments, or they constantly comparing what they've done to what you've done. You know, they in competition with you. They're jealous of you and they're in competition. That's not a good sign for a family member. It's not hard to recognize that. Person got a one-up on you. Every time you do something, they need to go do it and do it better, or they smarter and better for whatever reason, where everything is a comparison of who could be better and who's, you know, that's a competition spirit, and it's coming from a place of jealousy, and that's a really toxic sign for a family member. Where we at? So let's just recap real quick. Tip number 1, their feelings come before yours. Tip number 2, they don't know how to communicate. Tip number 3, they disrespect you. Tip number 4, sign number 4, you dread family gatherings. Sign number 5, they're jealous or in competition with you. Sign number 6, you just, sign number, do we have a 6th sign? Anyways, I'm not working off nothing. I think I'm gonna leave my signs right there, because we know a toxic. Oh, sign number 6, they constantly gossip about you and about other people. So you could tell them something, and it don't matter how much you pray, it don't matter how much you beg them, it don't matter how much you want it to be a secret, your business is going to be somebody else's business when they get upset, or somebody else's business is going to be yours, because you guys trauma bond over gossip. That's a sign of a toxic family member. So now that we've recognized excuse me, what's a toxic family member, all that rambling got my mouth kind of dry. Anyways, now that you recognize what's a toxic family member, I just want to talk about what has been my step of just removing myself and healing from toxic family, because I come from a very toxic family. We're getting better in some ways, so I'm not going to make like everything is all bad. And just to be clear, this is not for the hypersensitive people, because we understand that no family is perfect, and it's okay to have shortcomings as a family. That's just what family is about. We're here for each other in the good times and the bad times, and not saying that every little thing needs to be considered to be a toxic family, but when you're in a toxic family, you know. So yeah, with that being said, I've had to recently cut off people that's been very close to me that I never in my life thought that I would need to, but I seen the writings on the wall. I knew at some point I would have to make some changes in order to be healthy. And it wasn't necessarily even because you hate them so much or whatever. It's just because you want to be healthy. You're choosing health. Health is a choice. Mental health sometimes is a choice. And sometimes you have to choose your peace. You have to choose your own happiness, just to move forward. So these are the tips I've been taking just to move forward in health and in happiness. So the first thing I did was set some very strong boundaries. I've been hearing that word, and if you've gone to therapy at all, talk to anybody, the first thing they say is boundaries, but nobody tell you how. And it seemed easy for some, but for a person who is an extreme people pleaser like myself, setting boundaries was hard. Telling people that they can't do something, or you don't want to be around certain things, and you don't want to hurt their feelings, that was hard. So I started little by little limiting the way people called me. That was my beginning stages of healing, and this is toxic everything, not just family from this point. This goes for my friends too. I just started limiting my phone call interactions with them. That was the first thing. That's a small tip. Just stop taking all their calls. If you know somebody's calling with drama, somebody calling with trauma or drama, just don't be available to listen. Even if you want to be there for them, start limiting your availability and what you take in, because your health, your mental health is just like your physical health. What you eat comes out, and what you eat ultimately decides how healthy you are. What you feed your mind and what you feed your ear gates, that goes into your mental body, your mental health. So sometimes, like I said, with a toxic family, even if it's not about you, start not picking up those calls. You're not available. You can't listen to it. You can't sit there and listen to their complaints. You can't just be available for every little problem. Start limiting your availability. That was what I've done, and I've seen that worked. So it kind of gave me the strength to move forward to my second thing that I did. So I started limiting my availability. Second thing I did was I started to change my conversation. I started being so positive that people just didn't even really feel as comfortable talking about negative things with me. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. It's been times I definitely have to have not so nice conversations. I'm not trying to say that I'm some holier than thou and better, but I'm saying it was certain conversations I was just tired of having. And it was things that I was trying to clean up in my life, like gossip. Everybody struggle with gossip every now and then. It's nothing wrong with, having some conversation every now and then about something, but when you realize that all you do is talk about people with this person, it's time to make some serious changes if you want to reap some positive rewards. And a positive reward is peace. So I started changing the conversations that I was having when I did pick up the phone. I didn't want to talk about people's situation. And when I was around, especially if I was in their space, I just ended up leaving. I leave early. If we have to talk about people the whole time, I'm going to say something good about them, or I'm going to engage until I can't take it. And I'm like, listen, I won't say it, but I'll start just talking very positive about that person. And it's like a domino effect. They either A, don't want to talk to you no more about it, or B, the whole conversation just ends. And both of them are a win. Trying to see if this lighting will help me right now. No, that's not going to help. So both of them are a win. So I stopped engaging in certain conversations, and I noticed a big, huge shift in who talked to me and when. They'll talk to me, but they know not to do too much because my conversation and what I talked about changed. I used to be a toxic family member myself. I didn't realize I was being toxic because I was trying to just continue my bonds with the people I was close to. I could talk more about my upbringing and things that I've gone through and my trauma bonding and things like that. I'll save that for another video. But I had to look at myself in the mirror. Before you call somebody a toxic family member, are you a toxic family member? And I can say honestly, at one point I was. I've always been a good-hearted person, willing to help. But yes, I would sit with my toxic family members and talk about other toxic family members. And with that being said, that made me a toxic family member. That's just me being real. Yes, I was a toxic family member because I engaged in negative conversation about other toxic family members, meaning that I'm now part of the crowd. So I changed that about myself. That's something that I went to God with, and I cleaned. That was some stinking thinking, and I cleaned that up about myself because I didn't want to be that anymore. So that was the second thing I did. And finally, which has been probably the hardest, I made the decision to just completely distance myself from basically everybody in my family. I'm close to those who are who's on the same type of walk that I'm trying to be on. And you don't have to be a perfect person. I love my whole family with my whole heart. But people who are not trying to change, people who are just stuck in negative mode, people who are stuck in just mental it's just people who just can't see nothing positive in life, and people who just can't communicate, can't just be family, without talking about each other and arguing and disrespecting each other, and just lack of communication and judging and sitting back and expecting more out of one person and not expecting enough out of the other. That kind of stuff, I went ahead and distanced myself from the majority of my family. And I'm gonna do a separate video about kind of just being out here, because it's like I'm not alone because God is with me. And that's what I have to constantly tell myself. Like I said, this was probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, and I had to, because I had to enforce my boundaries. It was something that I was presented with, a problem, and I'm like, what? If I say yeah to this is gonna be an issue for me, and I know that it's gonna be an issue. So God put me in a position where I had to stand on it. He really tested me, like, okay, I'm gonna see if you listen to what I've been saying. I've been telling you what to deal with, what not to deal with, and now it came a time where, and I know I'm probably all over the place, let me just get more clear about what I'm saying. Something happened with a family member, won't say who, what, when, or where, but I had basically a few minutes to enforce some serious boundaries. Something I've never done and would have not done years ago. I would not have known how to do. But walking in my newfound power, walking into the person that God has created me to be, walking into this new authority that I now have, and just knowing who and what I can handle, I said no. Everybody was upset at first. I did explain myself to a lot of people who was willing to listen and understand, but I had a blink of an eye to make that decision, and I had to make a decision, and it was a difficult one. It was not hard. It was not easy at all, that decision that I had made, and I'm still walking it, and I'm still living it, and I'm still maneuvering through it. But with that decision I made, it came with toxicity, as you know, arguing, name calling, people looking at me a certain way, people, you know, being cool in my face and different behind my back. It came with a lot. But you know what? I'm a different person now. I'm a new creature in Christ. God said when you're a new creation with God. I'm actually can't even believe my strength right now. Like I said, I don't have no anxiety. I don't have no depression. I'm actually living my dreams right now. God is answering so much. God has came through I've been so obedient to what he's been telling me to do, and people he's been telling me to distance myself with, that I'm seeing the goodness of the Lord in a different type of way. And like I said, this was something I ain't never in my life think I would have to do. But it came with so much freedom. I have not been this free of anxiety in a long time, and it's something I just needed to do. I needed to do it. So that was the final step with me. Just literally, I moved into a new place, and basically I didn't tell nobody, and I have kept my distance. That opportunity came where the toxicity would literally be around me at all times. I said no to that, and it created a little bit more distance between me and other family members. And it just is what it is. And honestly, it's been an experience. It's been a journey, and I'm learning so much about myself, about God, and about the way obedience works. But it's been very worth it. It's been peaceful like you wouldn't believe. I've been myself lately. You know, when I'm depressed or I'm anxious, I haven't been free to be the beautiful woman that I am. I haven't been free to because I've been dealing with so much, worrying about so many people's problems, that I felt like I was myself, but not really. It's like you double-minded. You are yourself, but you're not yourself because you're dealing with so much. But when you start to let that stuff go, like for some strange reason, I look better. I don't know why. I'm not doing nothing no different. I do my makeup every day for work, but I look better. I'm getting more compliments, and I'm walking into extreme favor. And I'm not bragging. I'm just doing this to encourage somebody that sometimes you getting away from toxicity, whether it's friends, family, a toxic job, you just don't know what God will do for you. You don't know what's on the other side of that obedience. And sometimes you're in that toxicity because God wants you to do something, and you not doing nothing is delaying your miracle. It's delaying your promise. So sometimes it's like, okay, this ain't on God. Don't create. God is not a God of He's not a God of confusion. God, if it comes with anxiety and confusion, then it did not come from God. I don't care how good it is. It comes with pain, strife. It comes with all these different. You have to leave feeling heavy when you're around. That's not coming from God. That's not gonna come. Anxiety don't come from God. Depression do not come from God. It's a demon from hell. And if you're around certain people, I don't care if you were blood related to them, or you're around people where you gotta play yourself down because you just never know. They might think you want something or want their man. Or, you shouldn't have to feel that way. You should be free to be the person that God created you. As long as you are respecting yourself, respecting your family, and respecting the people that you're around, you shine your light. You are a light of the world. And God didn't create you to be a dull version of yourself. God created you to be a bold version of yourself and to walk boldly in your power. God didn't create you to walk around with heaviness on you. You were not created to carry that type of weight. Not even for other people. Yeah, carry each other's burdens as much as you can carry. But once it gets too heavy, be honest with yourself about that. And move on from it, and be okay with somebody not being okay with you. You can't make your family happy all the time. You can't make everybody happy all the time. It's not your portion, and it's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to worry about everybody's problems. That puts so many people in the early grave, just worrying about everybody. That's not your job. You're trying to be God. You're not God. Let those people go, and if it's real like it's supposed to be, which it probably is because it's your family, then God will create that distance, and harmony can come out of that. You just never know, but you won't know unless you try. And I just want to thank God just for giving me the strength to do this video. Like I said, I'm actively walking this out right now, and it's been a journey, and it hasn't been an easy one, but I'm here to tell you to just keep going. It's miracles on the other side of your obedience if you are truly being obedient. Repent, keep your heart clear. Now if it's something you know you need to apologize for, you just separating yourself ain't gonna be enough. You got to keep your heart clean. But when you know your heart clean and you ain't wronged nobody, and you know that you have operated, and you know you have operated in full strength to the best of your ability with these people, you've tried it all, just stand. Just let God fight. Stand still and let the Lord fight your battles. Remove yourself. Don't put yourself in battle mode no more. Put yourself in fabulous mode. Put yourself in love mode and be the light so other people, you can choose your family. That's where I'm at right now. It's like, I love my family, don't get me wrong, but I'm in the active process of choosing really good friends. I don't even really know how to do that, but I'm gonna do it because those are chosen family members. I want some good friends to be my destiny helpers and to be like family. I don't want to have to rely on people. I don't want to have to rely on that no more. So I'm gonna go. It's time for me to go get my little kiddo. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day, and God loves you. Hi, I was rambling a lot in that video. I didn't get a chance to properly thank you for watching my video. If you made it this far, this topic is near and dear to my heart. Please like, share, and subscribe.